Hi. Today I want to talk to you about... You don't get it, do you? Okay, fine. Well, let me put it this way. I want to talk to you about a polymer composed of organic units joined by carbamate links. I can see you're still not getting it. Alright, fine. What I'm talking about is... I'll bet you get it now. Now, when you're looking for a finish, and you're walking through the aisles of your local home improvement store, you have many options. You might come across lacquer. Lacquer's a good finish, often used to spray on furniture because it's thin. However, the odor is pretty strong. You might also come across some shellac. Shellac can be used for a typical finish or even a sealer, but one of the best uses I found is using it for a technique called French polish. French polish was done on this piece of wood here, and this is the smoothest finish that I have ever seen. However, my go-to finish has got to be polyurethane, and that's what I'm going to show you how to use today. So here's the table we sanded down and stained in part 1 and part 2 of our videos. This is part 3, applying the finish. In this case, polyurethane. Now, you really don't need me to tell you how to apply polyurethane if you would just read the instructions. But who likes to read instructions? So, get yourself a brush. Make sure it's clean and dry, and you might want to do this to get rid of any loose bristles so they don't come off on your project. The other thing I like to use is the tack cloth. Your surface needs to be free of any dust. When you rub your hand on it, you'll actually feel all kinds of particles. So we're going to use the tack cloth to get rid of those. Now this package happens to come with 3. The problem though is they give it to you in a package that's not resealable, causing the others 2 to dry out. That way you have to buy them again. So grab yourself a Ziploc and put them back into a Ziploc bag and squeeze the air out. Now you could store those for later. So we're going to be rubbing this back and forth, and now as you put your hand on here, you shouldn't be able to feel any particles. A little bit of the stain comes off, no big deal. Okay, now we're ready to go. Now when you're opening up your poly, as the instructions say, you don't want to shake the can. However, you do want to stir the can. And as you do this, you could actually see some of the particles, the cloudiness, start mixing up. One of the benefits of applying the poly while your project is horizontal is that you're able to put it on a little thicker. So that's why we're going to be putting poly on all of our pieces while they're lying flat. Now you don't have to worry too much about how neat you're doing this first part. It's important just to lay it all out. So at this point it's about quantity, not quality. You don't want to overdo it. If you put too much, it'll pool up. Now it's important to go back and forth lightly. I like to actually drop it down lightly and then go all the way to the end, past the end. Now if it feels like you have too much on here, what you can do is grab some newspaper and dry off your brush. Get rid of some of that excess. Then what I like to do is, on an angle, with the light reflecting off of it, you look for any parts that you missed, or in this case, I found a bristle. So get rid of any bristles and then brush it out. So look on an angle. If you see any pieces of dirt that dropped in, pick them out. Also, if you have any overspill, all you have to do is take your finger, run it around the rim, and then wipe it off. Now, when we do these pieces, we want to be sure not to apply any polyurethane where there's a joint where you're going to be gluing boards together. By the way, this is just a discoloration in the wood. So we're going to do the same procedure. Take our tack cloth, and there you have it. You probably want to do this in a well-ventilated area, otherwise your wife might yell at you. Not that I have any first-hand experience with that, mind you. So, while our pieces are drying, we're going to need to use our brush again. So, there's no need to clean it just yet. So, what I usually do is put it in a container with some paint thinner. And just let it sit there till you need it again. So what we want to do now is we want to sand it. So I've got here some 400 grit sandpaper. Now, no matter how hard you try, after the first coat, you're never going to get it perfectly smooth. So even after that quick sanding, it's way better. And you don't want to press it too hard. You want to be careful of the edges so you don't accidentally go too deep and take off the stain. So that's it with that. And then we'll have to take our tack cloth again. So the second thing I'll do is I'll take a rag and put just a little bit of paint thinner on it. So right now you can see a little bit of a film, a little residue. Once you clean it with thinner, almost perfectly smooth. But we're still going to apply a second coat. So let's do the rest of the pieces just like that, and then we'll apply the second coat. So yesterday we left our brush, and you can still see it's pliable. Now it has a lot of thinner on it, so it's probably a good idea if we took our rag and we dried up some of that. Now sometimes you'll see small bubbles start appearing. What I usually do to get rid of those is take a slow pass and that seems to do the trick. So this was the repair. This piece here was completely broken off. Now sometimes when you do the top, you tend to get a few drips on the sides, so just a quick pass on the sides. Okay, and then we'll make our final pass with the grain. Slow. Looks good. Alright, so we've got 2 coats of polyurethane on it and it's completely dry. But it's still a little bit rough to the touch. Not a whole lot, but we still want to make that perfectly smooth. Now there's a lot of ways you can do that. I always learned steel wool was the best way. I saw a video that used sandpaper and then they used steel wool and then they used soapy water with steel wool. Now all that's fine and good, but I like to go simple. Simple, quick, and cheap. And the best way that I found to do that is with sandpaper. However, we're not going to use this side. We're going to use the back side, or the paper side. I wish I learned this years ago. It's so simple and it gives you a very nice finish. Simply take the back with the paper and you rub with the grain back and forth. Doesn't take much at all. That's it. You will be amazed how smooth your table comes out. That's it. So that's the way I like to do it. I'm going to do that with the rest of the pieces. Then I'm going to assemble the table and I'll show you what it looks like. There you have it. Another piece of furniture, alley picked and given a second chance. If you'd like to see more videos like this, please subscribe to my channel, Alley Picked. Thanks for watching.